Hello, everybody. My name is Natan Verkhovsky. I have with me the most incredible Lama Tantrapa today. We are here on the Voices That Lead podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. This is for leaders, legacy, limitless. And as you notice in the ticker tape, this is where leaders get to share their legacy. They get to become limitless. They get to shine. So I'd like Lama Tantrapa, introduce yourself in the incredible little bit of a background and story that you have to bring us to where you are today.
It's pleasure to be here as the first guest of this first episode of this brand new podcast. I am a veteran podcaster. I started podcasting 16 years ago, more than that, in 2009. In January of 2009, I started a podcast, a talk show called The Secrets of Qi Gong Masters.
Mm,
It's about the same time, the same year when Joe Rogan started podcasting. And
that's awesome.
he's got a few more followers than me, but it's still the number one podcast in the world on Qigong, in English at least. I don't know, maybe there are some
Awesome.
Chinese podcasts that I don't listen to that have more subscribers. But
I would think.
the Secrets of Qigong Masters is also a collection, the largest library in the world, the collection of interviews with Qigong masters, as well as Tai Chi masters and masters of related disciplines. And since 2012, I started producing and organizing summits. First,
Okay.
I called them Summits of Qigong Masters. Then I rebranded them as the World Tai Chi and Qigong Summit. And now, this year, we are launching a summit with, again, a new brand name, World Resilience Summit. So I
Mm,
am delighted to be here one day before the summit
how
launches.
cool. I'm so excited. I'm blessed enough to be on the summit in there in the scape of several dozen of the most incredible energy and world leaders and thought leaders from around the world. That is such a blessing. I'm speaking on global resilience and also looking at it on an organizational level. So there's going to be some very, very cool talks. Mine's going to be coming up shortly. And then there's a beautiful leadership roundtable discussion where we get to go around. That is so cool. What made you first think that summits were the right way to go? And that groupings and putting them together and fingers crossed you could get to the one day at 10,000, 20, 30,000 people who show up.
Well, we already had 10,000 people showing up at our summits last year. As a
But how
matter of
did you
fact,
come to that? How did you come to that magical rise? There's some of us who can't get 10 people to show up.
well, you do this long enough, you'll get something going. Uh, Basically, if you do something that you're really passionate about, that you don't get bored doing for exact that reason that you're passionate about it, or that it matches your values and priorities very well,
Mhm.
that you would be doing even if you were not paid. Honestly, I am not monetizing my podcast, which is kind of silly because I could be a millionaire by now, and I'm not. And the reason why is not because I don't care about money. Being a Tibetan Lama doesn't allow you to live to live without any expenses. I have my own expenses, and I also have my own nonprofit organization and a school
Mhm.
of qigong coaching. It's the profession
Mm.
that I pioneered in 2005. Believe it or not, 20 years ago,
Is that
and
crazy? You
it's
made
pretty
your
crazy.
own ability to reach out. Like some people will come out and they'll be like, here, you need something. This can help you. This can help you. And it's always a very, from me to you, this is something that you gave back to the world and said, hey, this is for you to you. You come here. I teach you, but now you get to go and be this new person and put on this whole new outfit. And it's incredible.
Not only an outfit. You said that the topic of your new show would be leaders and their legacy. Well,
Mm.
this would be my legacy. Obviously, I'm a thought leader in my industry, and this would be a fantastic legacy to create a new profession. How many people
Yeah, so
have
cool.
that feather in their cap, so to speak?
Yeah, that's so
Now,
cool.
obviously I had to do is educate other people about this profession. So I started training people to become Qigong coaches. And I realized that it's hard.
Mm,
It's not easy to market. I didn't know anything about marketing. I was learning in the trenches, so to speak.
so
And
cool.
one of the things that I realized is that I would love to have someone who would just create a platform, a soapbox for me,
Yeah, that'd
some
be
kind of
cool.
forum, maybe not only for me, but for other people like me. But nobody was doing it. And so finally, I realized, if nobody is doing it for me, maybe
Yeah,
I need to do it for
yeah,
myself and for others.
that's
And so I
beautiful.
did. I literally decided, you know what? I'm going to like marketing. It's like totally bizarre, right? I was talking to another fellow Russian martial artist in Toronto, Canada, named Vladimir Vasilyev.
Mm,
And he is the guy who popularized the Sistema in the West. And I
mm,
was talking to him about his numerous training videos. And I was like, Vlad, who produces all these videos for you? You must have like a team of video producers and videographers and editors. And he's like, no, I don't. I have my wife.
mm,
I said, are you kidding? She's a video editor. She's like, no, I'm the one editing. I was like,
hmm.
you editing videos? Did you like go to school for that? He's like, no, it's a hobby. How
YouTube,
did you
right?
develop this hobby? And he goes, you know, I hated doing it, but nobody would do it for me. So I decided I would like it. And so he turned it into his hobby. I was like, this is brilliant. This is so clever. Instead of bitching and moaning about how nobody's doing it for me or not having money to hire somebody to do it or to have someone on your team, you just decide, you know what, I'm going to like it. I'm going to just change my mind about it.
You have to
And
lean
so
in,
that's what
right?
I did. Instead
Isn't that
of
part of
trying to
resilience?
run away from it, you actually
Yeah,
face it. It's like dealing with fear. Instead of running away from it, which is a recipe for it to keep chasing you, you actually turn around and face the fear. And
yeah,
in many cases, it turns out to be not as scary as you thought it would be.
yeah.
And
That's
so
wonderful.
that's basically what I did. I realized I need to promote not only my profession, but the entire industry because at that time, one guy was trying to create a podcast on Qigong and he interviewed me on it, just like you interviewing me for the first time on yours. And
How beautiful.
uh, and then he folded. He literally just couldn't pull it off. And so I was like, all
Ooh,
right, fine. I'm gonna I'm gonna do it. And so I started the podcast and then I realized I got invited to a few summits who were that were organized by like uh, big companies. Sounds True in
mm,
Colorado or the Shift Network in California and others. And I was like, okay, well, this is a big companies organizing this amazing summits, and they have apparently a pretty large number of people attending these events. Now that
mm,
would be awesome to have in our industry in Tai Chi and Qigong,
yeah.
except nobody is doing it. What's wrong with this picture? And so in
Mm,
2012, on December 12th, so it was 12, 12, 12, the auspicious date, I
how
organized
cool.
my first summit on conscious human evolution. Hosted 12 Qigong masters,
Wow.
and we basically had an amazing event. Back then, it was all audio. The video streaming was still not an option, but it was a fantastic event. Never mind, it had less than 1,000 people attending, but still, 1,000 people. That was
On a
not a
first
bad
try, that's
start
incredible.
for a first try. Yeah, so
That's
that
incredible.
kind of gave me an impetus to continue doing this. I haven't done it every single year since then, but on many years I keep repeating it. It became like an annual event of the year in our industry.
Do you think it's one of the cool things that when you're doing something unique in the industry, it's almost like a beacon to bring people in. Like a side example, you look at something like Formula One racing. They were saying that the number of people watching it and going to it was just going down, 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 down. And then Netflix had that show, Drive to Survive. And all of a sudden, do, 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 and it picked up not just new viewers, but new demographics, where the people who had never watched and didn't give a crap about it at all of a sudden really genuinely started to care and became thriving fans and consumed. Do you think in Qigong it was the same thing? The people who maybe hadn't been exposed to it and then all of a sudden saw some of the work that you're doing go, oh my goodness, I need to get deeper into this.
Yeah, and I wasn't the first one to do that, and I certainly was doing it in a kind of a alternative manner. Like for example, uh, Lee Holden
Mm,
organized or at least hosted a series of public television broadcasts on American Public Television Network (PBS), and it was all about qigong way before I started producing my podcast. I think the same thing also happened with another friend of mine, David Dorian Ross. His was on Tai Chi, but I think he also did something similar. In other words, there are people who are pioneers in doing something like this in a public space. And doing this publicly attracts attention. Another friend of mine, Bill Douglas, who's also going to be presenting at our summit starting tomorrow, pioneered a new way of practicing and celebrating our arts. He
neat.
basically founded World Tai Chi and Qigong Day.
Hmm.
Now, mind you, who would even think that our profession needed to have a professional holiday? But him and
Mm,
his wife, Angela, decided, you know what, we're going to do it. And so they pioneered the World Tai Chi and Qigong Day, which happens to be this coming Saturday. It's the last Saturday of April every year. And that's what we do. We celebrate World Tai Chi and Qigong Day. And for many years, I organized summits on that specific day for this obvious reason that this is our professional holiday. And this year, I decided to expand beyond one day. So instead of just one day dedicated to Tai Chi and Qigong, we are going to have a 3 day event. And we will also have an expanded theme of
mm,
resilience. So we'll touch upon organizational and national and global resilience. Of course, a lot of Tai Chi and Qigong teachers will be talking about personal resilience.
of
So
course.
that's what is going to be covered in Saturday. But there's also going to be a lot of wonderful presentations and panel discussions happening on Friday as well as on Sunday. And I would love our viewers and listeners to join us.
That would be so much fun. And I'm excited to get us in because we're going to be, and I've got contact info in the chat. So everybody pop in. Your ticket's already paid for. You're blessed enough to have that. And I want you to
The
know
basic
that,
tickets are paid for. There's
yep.
also VIP tickets that are still to be paid for, but they are worth each and every penny.
Oh, I would
For
think.
$197, you get a VIP ticket that doesn't only give you all the recordings for life of all the presentations and the panel discussions. You can actually be in the room. In other words, you will be invited to participate in the panel discussion live
Ooh,
as it is happening as a
that's so
VIP.
cool to have access to that level of expertise. That's incredible.
Yeah, you can hobnob and network with experts. You can ask your most burning question about resilience. And also, you will be invited into the inner circle community. So we're creating community of people who participate in our summit, interested in resilience. And then there is also an inner circle of those who decided to become VIPs. And as a VIP, you will also receive a $200 scholarship. So you pay $197, you actually get a $200 scholarship right away. towards a workshop that I teach on embodied resilience. Right at a
Mm.
week after our summit, I'm teaching a workshop. Normally it's $400. For the VIPs, it's going to be only $200. And
Nice.
the VIP ticket will pay for itself right away.
That's very cool. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Let me ask you guys that if you have a chance to come in and pop in and join and see and participate from the live, all of the acts, morning till night, it's absolutely incredible. I was there last year, blessed enough to speak at the World Tai Chi and Qi Gong Festival and do some panel discussions and pop in and just really be a part of that incredible energy. It's huge, 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 huge. Tens of thousands of people come and play and stay, and for you to feel energetically connected to that, it's incredible. The tide rises all boats. So I want to make sure that you have your invitation. You know where to go. You know how to get there. We're starting it off.
ResilienceSummit.org.
Please, you've got it in the chat, you've got it on the ticker tape, you're ready to go. Now, if we wanted to leave with a closing thought, knowing that the people coming are going to be hearing incredible stories on global resilience and what nation states can do, on organizational resilience and what companies and organizations can do, and personal resilience and what people can do. If we put it all together, really, what are we trying to do, Lama?
We're trying to make the world a better place by becoming resilient so that we don't fall apart so easily. Each and
Mm,
every one of us has a responsibility. If we live our lives responsibly and in a regenerative manner, we create greater sustainability of humankind. I've been on the cutting edge of conscious human evolution movement since even before my first summit in 2020.
hmm,
However, how many people actually recognize that, oh, yeah, I am doing something to help the humanity evolve?
mm,
We are creating the movement of those people who are interested, willing, and able to step up to the plate and lead this movement in the direction of greater sustainability, living in harmony with nature, and creating a greater sense of balance, because imbalance is what compromises our resilience. So we're creating greater balance, and also we're creating greater sense of ability to stand on our own 2 feet without falling over and leaning on someone else all the time. You know,
yeah.
I moved to Denmark a year ago, and I am still marveling at how a welfare state organized and run. And a lot of people have no qualms about taking advantage of the welfare that they would receive if they just decide to quit the job, or if they feel like, I don't feel like working, or they decide to retire early. Oh yeah, I'm 45. It's time to retire. Maybe it's not me who's 45. It's some people I talk to. So that's basically an example of lack of resilience. Low level
Yeah.
of resilience puts a strain not only on society at large, but on your neighbors, on your relatives, on your partners. Basically, what we want to learn is how to become more balanced. Stand on our own 2 feet, have a
Mm,
greater sense of responsibility and responsiveness. Responsiveness is the ability to respond, and responsibility is the ultimate result of that. So we learn how to develop the embodied sense of being adults, being mature and conscious individuals who are on the cutting edge of conscious human evolution, who are embodiments of resilience. If you and all our viewers become walking manifestations of resilience, do you think we'll be living in a better world?
would have to be. Like collectively, we would just would have to be. I love that. I think that's beautiful.
Absolutely.
I think that's beautiful. If you're
Well,
looking at every challenge, holding a hidden opportunity, chances to upgrade your energy, if you choose resilience, if you embrace the uncertainty, if you let life's challenges become your greatest teachers, yeah, you're going to thrive. It's going to be wonderful.
and imagine that more of us humans learn how to thrive. It would be a paradise to live in, heaven on earth. So who wouldn't want that, right? That's
Yes.
exactly what we're working towards. Not
Yes.
just towards as a distant goal. Each and every day, we actually learn to experience a little bit of that. That's my philosophy of life. I don't believe that mastery or enlightenment or even thriving is a goal. It's a destination somewhere at the end of a long journey.
Okay.
No, we are on a journey of mastery. We are on a journey of enlightenment. We are on a journey of thriving. We're learning how to thrive each and every step we take on earth so that the whole journey becomes a string of harmonious, thriving steps.
That's beautiful.
Now,
And that's where we're
that's my
coming
simple
from.
philosophy of life.
I love this. I love this. I love this. Join us at the 2025 World Resilience Summit. You've got contacts, you've got chats. Basic tickets are already paid for you. Pop in, let me know. In the chat, you've also got ways to play with us so that if you wanted to come be a guest on the show, it's available for you. Click on the link, book a time. This is the Voices That Lead podcast. And so, what we're looking for is leaders, we're looking for legacy, we're looking for limitless, both for what you've done and where you've come from, and what you can inspire others with so that the tide rises all boats. That is such a blessing. Lama, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for starting off our inaugural first annual wonderful, wonderful journey. Thank you so much for that.
Consider this as an initiation.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and blessings, everyone.
Blessings, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back shortly. Take care. Thank you.